Hi everyone, this is Mindy and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm sharing this cute little scene that I created with some Mama Elephant stamps, which I will admit is one of my secret little obsessions. So I have a few stamp sets picked out here. This is the Secret Santa stamp set and the Joyful Greetings. And I also have a die set. This is the Silhouette Snow Tree. And I thought about using these arches, but I ended up changing my mind. So the first thing that I like to do is lay out my scene. So here I have my trees set out, where I want my sentiment to go, and also my images. Once I have that kind of decided, I'm going to lay out my stamps on some Express It cardstock, and I'm going to pick these up with the door of my Misti. I'm using the mini Misti today since I only have a couple images to stamp. So once I reposition my cardstock and make sure it is tucked into the corner, I'm going to ink these up in some Lawn Fawn jet black ink, which I know is going to be safe when using alcohol markers. Now this is a pretty new stamp set. I think I stamped them out one time but didn't end up doing anything with them, so my stamps are not conditioned quite yet. So I'm going to stamp them again just to make sure I have some really good impression and all my lines are nice and crisp. Now my coloring today, I'm going to be using my Triblend markers. So I'm bringing out this little cheat sheet that I created. It shows me all the different colors and the marker that the blends belong to. So once I picked out the colors that I wanted, I'm going to go ahead and start coloring in my images. Now, as I'm doing the coloring here, which I did speed up my process a little bit, I need to apologize if I sound a little hoarse or stuffy. I think I'm getting a cold, which is about right for timing because it's Christmas time and the kids are all home from school, so it was bound to happen. And I also want to take a minute to talk about my work surface that I'm working on. I had done a poll in my community tab over on YouTube here, and I had asked everybody what they preferred, the black mat or the white mat, and I got a lot of the black mat, which I completely understand. Um, I really tried to work with the black mat, but I really enjoy working on the white surface. This is a surface from Glassboard Studio, and I really love the white because I can see where my ink is, and for whatever reason, it is just way easier on my eyes. My eyes are not getting any better, and it's just really hard for me to see things for whatever reason on the black work surface. So you may continue to see me flipping between my mats just depending on the day, and honestly, the sunlight coming into my kitchen, that can throw some things off. I'm trying out a new video editing software, which I'm hoping helps kind of color correct some things for me. Because of the lighting in my kitchen and the lights that I have, it's really hard to keep a consistent light in my video. So kind of another new thing I'm testing out right now is this new editing software. And now, if you celebrate, it is also Christmas Day when this video is going up. So I want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas. I hope you are having a safe and wonderful holiday. And I do want to take a second to thank you all so much for your support. I know some of you, I see your comments come through on almost every video. I appreciate every comment, every like, every share. It really helps grow my channel and just tell YouTube to show this to other people who are interested in card making and may like the tips and techniques that I share in my videos. So with that all being said, I'm finishing up coloring this last Santa here that has his little package of toys and holding that little teddy bear there. So I colored everything, or I colored the Santas in the red. I did just a little bit of a light gray going around the beard and the top of the hat where the what is that? I want to say trim, but it's not trim. The top of the hat there where the white fluff is. I'm going to give him a brown teddy bear, and then I'm going to pick another color blend to make it a light brown for his sack. I kind of thought about doing another shade of red, but I wanted to really show a separation between his sack of toys and Santa's suit. And then once I have everything colored in, I'm going to take the coordinating dies. I'm going to line them up over the images and hold them down with some Easy C tape. I did also forget one little mitten that kind of curved around the teddy bear, so I'm going to come back in real quick and fill that in. Once that is filled in, I'm going to flip this over and I'm placing this on my magnet and running this through my mini Empress die cutting machine. I am also going to take a couple of the smaller trees from that Silhouette Snow Trees die set. I'm holding them down with some Easy C tape as well so they don't shift and overlap each other. And I'm going to die cut out some trees out of this white cardstock. I could have cut these from some green cardstock, but I kind of was in the mood to do some ink blending. So I laid down a silicone mat over the top of my work surface. And the reason I did that is so that it holds my die cut trees on me and they don't slide all over the place. And so I'm bringing in cracked pistachio Distress Oxide ink, and I'm going to apply that color over the entire tree for both trees. Then I'm going to add kind of an ombre effect. So I have some Peacock Feathers Distress Oxide ink, kind of blending that down, but not all the way down the front of the trees. And then to add a little bit more contrast to that, I'm going to bring in Pine Needles Distress Oxide ink. And that's going to go just to kind of the very tippy top of the trees. I'm going to finish up ink blending my trees. I could have added some splatters of water for interest, but I just kind of let them plain for now. Once I finish the ink blending, I'm going to clean up my work surface and put this silicone mat away, and then move on to a sentiment, which is off of, I think it was called the Joyful Greetings stamp set. So I have 80-pound white cardstock here lined up in my mini Misti stamping tool, and I'm inking this up with that Lawn Fawn jet black ink. Now, this sentiment, once again, is not used, so it's not conditioned, and I will need to stamp it a couple times to really make sure I get a good solid impression. I'm going to use the coordinating die to die cut this out, and I'm also going to cut out 3 more like this out of plain white cardstock and layer them together with some liquid glue to add dimension. So here is where my card process starts. I trimmed a white panel down to 3.5 by 4 3/4. And I'm adding my trees, so I'm making sure to have the trees hang off the edge of the cardstock. Now the trees are going to be added with a tape runner. I'm going to go ahead and get my sentiment placed down because I wanted to make sure I left enough room for the sentiment. So I'm using some liquid glue to do that. And then when I am going to place this over the front of the card, now the word holiday is kind of tilted. So I really want to make sure that I'm making it straight by looking at that bottom sentence. So that's how I'm eyeballing this and really making sure that that is straight with the bottom of my card. Then I'm going to add that last tree down towards the bottom, having that hang off the edge of the cardstock. And now my characters are all getting added with some foam circles to really make them pop off the background and give this some dimension. I'm removing the backing of those foam circles and placing them down using my tweezers. And then I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to line the back of this panel with some thin foam tape. Now, I've mentioned this in videos before. This is some thin foam tape I have in my drawer. It's a huge roll and I'm so sorry. I don't know where it came from. There's no kind of markings or name on it or anything, but it's a fairly thin foam tape. So not the normal Scotch foam tape that you would get on a big roll. It's a fairly thin foam tape, just enough to give this some lift. So I use my craft pick to peel off the backing, and I'm going to add this to a light gray card base. Now I can just flip this cardstock over and trim off that little bit of the tree that was hanging off of the edge, and that's going to finish off this really cute little scene that I created using this stamp set from Mama Elephant. I hope you enjoyed today's card project. I will have all of the supplies listed down below in my video description and over on my blog as well. I want to thank you all so much for joining me today, and I wish you all happy holidays.